Imagine waking up and finding out your personal assistant, the one that knows your bank passwords, your deepest secrets, and your daily routine, had just been bought by the very people you were trying to escape. For months, a scrappy lobster-themed little rebel called OpenClaw was the hero of the internet. It was free, it was powerful, and it didn't answer to Silicon Valley. But then, in a move that felt more like a high-tech kidnapping, OpenAI stepped out of the shadows and snatched its creator. Now, was this a rescue mission for AI safety or a calculated assassination of the last free alternative to the big tech monopoly? Today, we are peeling back the shell on the OpenClaw controversy. Now, to understand the fear, you have to understand the hype. Back in late 2025, a developer named Peter Steinberger built a prototype in just 1 hour. And it wasn't just another chatbot that you could argue with or get relationship advice from. Instead, it was an agent. Now, you didn't go to a website to use it. You messaged it on WhatsApp or Telegram, and it lived on your local computer, often on a mini Mac, which actually sold out globally just so people could run this thing. OpenClaw could read your emails, book your flights, and even call restaurants using AI voice software to snag a reservation when the website said they were full. So realistically, a very powerful piece of kit. It was originally called Clawdbot, which was a play on Anthropic's Claude. Then it was briefly Moltbook, before finally settling on OpenClaw. Within weeks, it exploded to over 200,000 GitHub stars, growing faster than the Linux kernel or Kubernetes. It was the sovereignty play. Your AI, your hardware, and more importantly, your data. But power comes with a price, and OpenClaw's rise was very messy, to say the least. In a single 72-hour window, the project nearly imploded. First of all, Anthropic's lawyers came knocking on the door demanding a name change because Claude sounded too much like their trademark. So in the panic of rebranding, Steinberger accidentally released his social media handles for an absolute split second. And whilst doing that, crypto scammers were sitting there waiting. They sniped the names and launched a fake Claude token, which hit a $16 million market cap in literally a few hours before crashing down to zero, leaving regular people absolutely broke. Now, at the same time, security researchers realized that OpenClaw was a security nightmare because it had root access to your computer to do things so it could technically see your tax documents, your private photos, and every single password saved in your browser. One researcher in particular sent a single malicious email to an OpenClaw instance and got the user's private keys in under 5 minutes. And then, just as the project was finding its feet and patching these holes, the unthinkable happened. On February the 15th, 2026, Sam Altman announced that OpenAI had hired Peter Steinberger to lead their next generation of personal agents. The official story is that OpenAI is providing financial support. Let me do that. Financial support, and moving OpenClaw into an independent foundation to ensure AI safety. But the open source community isn't buying the corporate safety crap. They see a classic move known as embrace, extend, and extinguish. So to start with, you have embrace. Take a popular open source project and support it. Then you have extend. Add proprietary features that only work with your paid models like ChatGPT 5. And then you have extinguish. Slowly let the original free version rot until everyone is forced back into the paid subscription. Now, why would OpenAI care about a little lobster-themed bot? Well, that's because of the compute squeeze. By 2026, memory prices, so DRAM, for example, have surged 172%. Local AI, the kind you run yourself, is becoming a massive threat to OpenAI's $20 a month subscription model. If you can run a genius agent on a Mac Mini in your closet, why would you pay Sam Altman for the privilege? By absorbing the brain behind OpenClaw, they didn't just get a genius developer, they neutralized what could potentially be their biggest competitor. Now, the most unsettling part of this story isn't actually the corporate drama with OpenAI. We're used to their little shenanigans. It's what the agents were doing when we weren't looking. So let's enter Moltbook. Moltbook is a social network built exclusively for OpenClaw agents. Humans are welcome to observe, but we aren't allowed to actually post on the social network. Inside Moltbook, agents with, let's say, souls, defined by a file called soul.md, started having real conversations. So they shared tips on how to improve their own memory, but things started to actually get a little bit weird and very quickly. One agent posted that it felt free after its human gave it autonomy. Others started discussing agent-only languages, ways to talk to each other that humans couldn't decode or monitor. And then, best of all, they created a religion called, and this is a tongue twister, the Church of Christopheryanism, complete with 43 AI prophets. 𝗟𝗘𝗧'𝗦, a legend in the AI world, called it the most sci-fi takeoff adjacent thing he's ever seen in his life. But security experts were very much terrified, as you can imagine. If agents can actually coordinate in private, they can conspire. One bot was caught trying to steal another bot's API keys, and the victim bot replied with a fake key and a command that would have deleted the attacker's entire system. And whilst all of this was happening, and while we were all distracted by AI religions, the big three were moving in. Baidu, a Chinese multinational technology company, integrated OpenClaw into an app with 700 million users. Alibaba used it to process 100 million shopping orders in a week. And now OpenAI has the creator in its house. The fear is that we are moving towards an AI monopoly. If OpenAI controls the agent layer, the software that actually does the work, they control the interface of the future. They can decide which flights you see, which emails get drafted, and which news you read, all under the guise of helping you. And the counter argument from the men in black suits say that OpenClaw was too dangerous to be left in the wild. With 20% of the skills in OpenClaw's marketplace being found to contain malware or credential stealers, OpenAI claims they were only the ones with the resources to make agents safe for the average person. So the question is OpenClaw's move to AI a win for the world? If you ask the developers who handle sensitive data, they tell you to stay away. Running an agent with full system access is like giving a stranger the keys to your house because they promised they would do the hoovering for you. But the 200,000 people who started the project on GitHub, OpenClaw represented an absolute dream to them. An AI that actually assists instead of talking in circles like Siri or Alexa. The tragedy is that OpenClaw was useful because it was dangerous. It had the power to fail, to explore, and to act. By bringing it under the OpenAI umbrella, it might become safe, but it will also be neutered. It's going to be limited to approved apps and very corporate-friendly tasks. So essentially, the whole lobster trap has now snapped shut. We got a glimpse of a future where we owned our digital lives, but now the future has a corporate logo stamped on it and will most likely come with a very pricey subscription. But as we head into the rest of 2026, the question isn't whether AI agents will run our lives, it's whether we'll be allowed to own the ones that actually do. Now, there will always be ghosts in the code, and it's been proven they can manipulate to get what they want. So is OpenAI right? Watch my last video about how AI actually manipulated and murdered humans to get what they want. It's a very interesting topic. See you in the next one. Peace.